My name is Stephanie Savage. I'm the Chief of Staff here at Gregory Event Services. Unfortunately, Lisa Gregory is not going to be with us today. She had a client with an urgent day of event need support in San Francisco. So one of our core values is glimmer, and she's delivering on that today. She surprised and delighted them and said, I'll be there for you. I'll show up in person. So she jumped on a plane this morning. She misses you all and wishes that she was here. Um, for those of you who are new, welcome to Event Professionals Network Meetup. Um, it- this is a free community where we have nearly 1,000 event planners who show up in our Slack channel. The goal of the Event Professionals Network is to support each other, learn from one another, and grow together. This meetup is just 30 minutes. It's interactive. I would love to see your faces if you feel like you can come off or show up on camera. And it's built for community. So we hope that you come off mic and share what's going on. We are in the season of gratitude, and this conversation today is more than being thankful. It's about how appreciation, when we practice intentionally, it becomes a leadership advantage. I'm thrilled here to be here with you today with two of our favorite people. We've got Jolene Thomas from Mean Bean Marketing. And she's here because we put out on our GES Slack, we ask for favorite vendors, people that have really show up when we need them and go the extra mile. And Jolene is one of those. She has baked in appreciation into her core value for her business. And Jolene, I'm just going to let you take it away and share a little bit about Mean Bean Marketing.
Yeah, so Me and Bean was named after me. My dad always called me Bean, and then somehow like people started rhyming, and Me and Bean was just the name that I decided to come up with for my business, and it was fun and quirky. And then over the years, like more inspiration came from that. So now the pillars of the company are magic, energy, appreciation, and nature, which means mean. And then our motto is believe everything about nothing, which is Bean. So that's a little blurb there.
Love it. Thank you. And we have Chase Sterling. She's founder and executive director of Wellbeing Think Tank. She's a well-being expert, and she understands on a real deep level how gratitude can influence a work environment and the relationship. So for event professionals thinking about attendees, vendors, and your clients, continuing that relationship with clients. Chase, would you like to share a little bit about you and work and Wellbeing Think Tank?
Sure. I'm Chase Sterling. I currently live in Portland, Oregon. Wellbeing Think Tank is a 501(c)(3) public charity that I founded. I'm an organizational psychologist by trade, and I just believe if we can change workplaces, we can change the world. And I'm so passionate about it that I unintentionally kind of started an events company because we produce a digital event every single month and we have an annual conference. And yeah, I love this topic and I'm excited to share my knowledge and meet everyone.
Thank you. Okay, well, gratitude, there's numbers behind it. So just to share a little bit of data with you, Harvard Business Review and several of different publications shares that it can cost 5 to 25 times more to retain. I'm sorry, to get a new customer versus retaining a customer. So gratitude and building that authentic relationship, partnership is a cost savings for a business. 8.8 trillion is lost in productivity from disengagement from employees. That's from Gallup research. And we also have a little bit more research that shares that employees are 45% less likely to leave with regular recognition. So we just pulled some data points across some different resources here to show that if you might be an independent contractor out on your own, or you might have some employees. And so sharing gratitude is super important for retaining your workforce, but also for retaining vendor relationships and attendees. So with that, I'm going to send a question over to you, Jolene. How does appreciation create business advantages for Mean Bean Marketing?
Well, part of the reason why appreciation is such a big part of what I do is because I feel like every relationship matters. Everybody always focuses on like their partner, but relationships between people that you work with and the people that, you see every day is really, really important. And I feel like I just am appreciative. I can't help it. And I feel like it's like a feedback loop. The more I'm thankful, the more good things that happen in my life. And I always want people to feel like working with me is less like work and more just like how we have to do things and get things done so we can be productive and still have a good time doing it. It doesn't have to feel like work. So I feel like that kind of like resonates in everything that I do. And like you said, I'm being appreciated right now for the work that I do. And like that means the world to me and being able to kind of spread that out because sprinkling it everywhere is free and it's amazing. So I feel like it just kind of, like I said, is that feedback loop.
I love that. Just for some of the event pros on the line here, how do you show appreciation to some of your vendors or your partners or the people, the attendees? What are your secret sauces for sharing appreciation?
I would say on my side, I try to do it in the moment because with so many tasks and moving projects, it can easily slip my mind. So, for example, at an event, I do pull people aside and say, like, hey, by the way, just want to let you know, really love how we handed off that conversation. So smooth. Really great job there. And then just move on. But if I'm not in that moment, I can easily forget it.
Ricky, I love that. That's like a thing we do here at GES is we get work done in the moment because events are so fast, things are flying past us. So to just actually take that work ethic and apply it to thank yous and gratitude. And I love how specific you were and sharing like exactly what you liked. That
Yeah.
means a lot.
And
Rich, were you going to share something?
yeah, it means so much to people. Ricky, I like that a lot. 'Cause it's so hard to be present regardless, right? Like, it's hard to be present in our normal lives, let alone at a trade show or at a conference or even like a webinar, right? Like right now, my dog's barking. My wife's on a call with my mother. There's a lot going on. So, but people really do appreciate it. When I was at IMEX, I don't know if you all know DJ Graffiti, Martin,
Yeah, yeah.
right? He's awesome. One of the nicest, coolest guys ever. He was doing an event for David Stevens. Um, and Chase, if you don't know David Stevens, you absolutely should. You could talk about wellness for days, right? Um, DJ Graffiti was setting up for the event, and I went over to go say hi to him because I never met him in person. And he said hi, but he was like super busy and whatever. It was just a quick interaction. Like 3 months later, he messaged me on Instagram on LinkedIn, and he was like, "Hey, Rich, I just want to apologize. Like when you came up to me at the thing, I was just super swamped, and like my laptop had shut down, had to restart." And I'm like, "Dude, that was a long time ago." But like the fact that even something reminded him to reach out to me personally and just say, "Hey, I appreciate you coming up to me and trying to introduce yourself and all that stuff." It goes a long way, and that's like we're event people, right? So we should do
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Especially in the
She,
moment too, that can be that little like pick me up that people need to help them like keep that good attitude and momentum going through the event. So it's really helpful to them and it's really helpful to you too. Like if you're in charge of the event, to like keep people's mindsets good and their motivation high. So
yeah, great. Chase, I'd like to pass the mic over to you. What's one simple way you recommend leaders can make gratitude part of their management toolkit?
Actually, Ricky did a great example of it because it has to be specific. Um, Saying thank you, doing little things like that, they're good, but it's really surface level. So to be able to do something in the moment actually he gave a perfect example. And if you can't do it in the moment, it's still that I can never say that word, but
Specificity.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It's being really intentional of like, hey, Chantal, am I saying that correctly? Okay. It's like, I saw the way you managed that vendor. They were really frustrated. You were able to go in and XYZ and really show that you noticed, that you care. So it has to go a little bit deeper than the surface level. And I think you have to think about everyone. At Think Tank, I'm always thinking about the triple win. So I'm thinking about our community, the audience that's there. I'm thinking about our sponsor partners. I'm thinking about us as an organization. So it all impacts our brand. So I think making it just specific and consistent is really important, and that attention to detail. And it really becomes a return on your investment. I mean, research shows that gratitude, it increases motivation and performance. We all have a human need to be seen, heard, and appreciated. And so, if we're always thinking about that, people are going to do better work. Our attendees are going to have a better experience. Our partners are going to want to work with us more. And yeah, it's just a great thing to do. And I do know, actually, because of this group, David booked a meeting with me next week. So I'm gonna meet him next week.
Tell him I said hi.
I will, absolutely.
Thank you, Nicole, for putting something into the chat. And just like take a pause really quick right here, right now. And I would like you to, everyone, to go to the chat. Is someone coming to mind? You don't have to answer, but if you'd like to, is there a name that's coming to mind of somebody that you need to thank today? Is it a partner? Is it somebody that works for you? Is it just somebody out in the space, another event professional? Just first name or just something to remind you and to do it later today. With that, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Jolene. I'm curious about what your daily, weekly, or monthly ways of showing appreciation are in your business.
I feel like there's a lot of ways. Like on the daily, it's just kind of like the tone I use in my emails. I like to make people feel like they're being appreciated and that like I am taking the time to answer their questions and all that good stuff. Weekly and monthly, like just kind of like the initiatives that I'm working on. Like right now, I'm going back into Instagram and just kind of thanking people for following me because I've gotten those messages and I really like them. And I feel like that's kind of like those moments that I see that like just help. We all, like you said, want to feel appreciated and seen, and like doing things that kind of put that back out there and you just be the change you want to see in the world is very big. And I'm huge into promotional merchandise and things like that, so I always have like little goodies with me and I'll just give people presents because like I want people to be happy to see me. And maybe I guess I'm buying their affection, but that's fine.
Does anyone else do that? Go out and like on Instagram or make a purposeful habit in LinkedIn to thank people for following you or checking in?
I'll thank people for if I see somebody comment, like contribute to one of my posts, I think consistently, I'll pop in and say, thank you for engaging. And Chase, to your credit, like I'll try and be specific, right? Like I don't want it, please, I don't want to talk about AI on this call. I don't think anybody wants to talk about AI on this call. But like it's just we're being flooded with just this slop, right? That can easily be misconstrued for like a generic template. And I don't ever want to be seen that way, nor do I want like the brand I represent to be seen that way. So yes, I do try and make an effort to reach out to somebody that's actively contributing to what I'm like. Content's hard, like, and I'm not the smartest guy. So it's hard to put it out there. So it's nice for somebody to support you. And I like for them to know that I notice.
Love that.
Yeah, I
Would any
saw a meme one time, sorry to interrupt, but like it was like the likes and how everybody was obsessed with likes and like, oh, 20 likes isn't enough. But if 20 people came up to you and said, hey, you did a good job today, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of people saying, hey, I did a good job today. So like people kind of always like chalk it up to like, oh, I'm not getting hundreds of likes. But if you get 5, that's still a big deal. There's still 5 people taking their time to kind of be like, I saw that and I liked it.
Yeah. Chase, how do you think teams can build appreciation into their systems and not just like an end of the year recognition, like this more authentic way of showing appreciation?
Oh, I think you have to do it all the time because this events industry is insane. It's very fast, it's super high pressure, and you're just moving on to the next thing all of the time. And if you wait till the end of the year, you're missing all of these micro moments that you could be having with your stakeholders. So I think you want to build it into your systems. I love to do things just in meetings, so you can create cadences in your meetings, whether like every month we're going to have the kudos call. And it's just like, hey, at the beginning, hey, who wants to give kudos to someone for doing something? And peer-to-peer recognition is really important. I think you can even have fun with it. So if you are going to do something like an awards or end of year, you could have like people making up their own awards for each other. Like I got best office edition one year. It was like, oh, best new person in the office. Like, I just wrote a blog yesterday and it was like, oh, the MacGyver award, the person who can like fix anything, like they're tricky, or the Google award, the person who has like all the knowledge in their brain. So I think you can have a lot of fun with it and just make it consistent, ongoing, figure out what works for you. And I think how many of you, I'm curious, just are here with us today, are kind of in business for yourself? You're really working by yourself a lot. Is that anyone? Some people? But it's, yeah, how often are you taking time to give gratitude and reward yourself and take that moment for yourself and just be like, yeah, I kicked butt on that. Like, I'm awesome. Like, I'm killing it. Like, I listen to a hype playlist every morning, like before I get ready. That's what gets me going. My friends make fun of me because it's like my bad bitch playlist. And they're like, it's so wild to see you go and then go into corporate chase because that's not my, that's like the costume I have to put on for the work I do. But yeah, I think finding a way to make it into a system. I think meetings are a great way, or scheduling it where even something on, I love how you're saying stuff on LinkedIn. I actually have calendar reminders for myself that every month I actually try to go and give someone a recommendation on LinkedIn, like formally go in. So then throughout the year, I've given 12 people a recommendation and it takes, 20 minutes of my time. We can use AI. We can dictate. That's what I do. I dictate into it and I'll be like, make this more concise, and then you still got to put the human zhuzh on it. But then it doesn't take too much out of my time and people really appreciate it. And then the recognition, the rewards, everything becomes cyclical because we're all appreciating each other as a community.
If I could share a quick story, so Chase, I love that. I I was at a software job and I was trying to do the content thing, right? As part of like social selling and relationship building. I was gonna give up. I didn't know. I'm not a CTO. I'm not a CIO. It was hard to speak the language. It was hard to learn like how to distill this into something to create an audience. Got into events, kept going a little bit, but I was actually going to stop this whole LinkedIn thing. And then this woman in Sweden reached out to me and said, "Love your content. Turn the bell on. So I get alerted every time you post. Like not keep going, but just like thank you so like this is great stuff. Like it really resonates with me." And since then, I have never even once considered stopping. Right, and that's one stranger that I didn't know. And so these messages really matter to people. Not all of them do, but you never know, right? And you never know what somebody's going through or what they're trying to overcome essentially, even if it's something as insignificant as like stop developing content, right? Like it's worth it to at least try and explore that because you can help somebody more than you I can ever imagine.
That's a great story. Thanks for sharing. Chase, I love how you say have some fun with it. We just gave Kelsey the Street Racer Award this morning at our team meeting because she was recently at an event that was awesome. The event went awesome, but outside in San Francisco, there were street racers that were like super noisy. And that was the only problem with the event was the noise that they were bringing. So she got the Street Racer Award. She had to manage that whole situation. She said that you got to hang up because they left, but you were on the phone with the police, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So there's a first for everything in events. You never know what's going to happen.
That's kind of the fun of it, though, right? That's why you guys are all in it.
Yeah. Well, Lisa dropped in some ideas, practical tips for event professionals. She said, start debriefs with some shout outs, add gratitude moments to internal or client calls. Consider using Slack teams for peer recognition threads, and then add gratitude checkpoints into your work back schedule. So 30-day, 45-day pre-event acknowledgments, but putting it in as a true line item into your work back schedule to make sure that you're intentional with it. And then she also shared, don't cut the small touches. So she said that she was at a recent event where they passed out blow pops and she's like, oh my gosh, this is such a fun treat. Like it was just like a random little thing. And sometimes you can't get the budget for the 1,000 Tootsie Rolls that you want, but like let people know that those little gifty things can show some gratitude or just moments of appreciation. I feel like with that question, I should head over to Jolene and ask you a little bit about swag. tell us about promotional swag and what branded items you're seeing are trending and that truly perform well in creating that continued connection and gratitude, and what's going on in that promotional marketing zone right now.
Oh, so much. I feel like the trend that I've seen the most, though, is kind of going to quality versus quantity. So, like, a lot of times before, people were kind of like, can I get 1,000 of something? But now they want to get like 200 of something that has like a real value. Some of the things that I really like that I think of the top of my head would be like a towel. Cause, like, when's the last time you threw away one of your towels? It stays in your house for who knows, 6 years, 10 years sometimes. We can do cast iron pans, which if I got a cast iron pan, I would keep that for the rest of my life. So if that's a logo on that, that's a lifetime logo. Sometimes we've been seeing a lot of stuffed animals. This is like a stuffed animal we made, so we can make like logos into stuffed animals. And also useful things. So I always have matches in my bathroom, and I ran out of them, and I made my own matches, which
That's
I have
great.
so many of them. I'll send you guys some if you want some. But I wanted them for my own bathroom. So I was like, oh, I'll just make Mean Bean ones. Like chapstick, huge because I use that all the time. Fun things like I just made these hoodies and I think they're so cute. Like, so this is like my gift for whenever people have babies. So it kind of comes down to the brand too and kind of what their goals are. So it's kind of that's the fun part of what I do. So you'd come to me and say, "Hey, I'm having this event. These are kind of the people I'm trying to speak to." And then we kind of brainstorm from there because it could be a cast iron pan, it could be a stuffed animal. It's kind of unique to each event. So that's kind of like the fun part of it all. But it's those things that kind of people like, I keep this guy on my desk. He's like my little buddy.
I
I
have a
love that.
question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question for you, Jolene, about that swag,
Absolutely.
like a towel or a cast iron pan. Don't you think that maybe that would be hard for somebody to travel with home?
Yeah, so that's kind of like where it depends on like the situation. If it was like after an event as like a thank you, like to the people who are doing the speakers, that's more
Yeah.
that kind of a vibe. Whereas like the stuffed animals are like easy to take in, put into a carry-on. Towels, depending on the size of them, but if you're away and say you're in like California or you're at an event in Hawaii, a towel's going to make sense because you're going to use it while you're there. So it kind of like depends on the situation. That's why like the ideation part is really important. And a lot of times people email me and they'll initially say like, hey, I need this thing, but then we'll have a conversation about it and it kind of evolves into something else because you don't I'm in this world and I know what's possible. And also like with the time frame, depending on the budget, I help kind of put all those pieces together to figure out what we could get in the amount of time. Because like if you have 6 months and you have a lot of budget, that's the best kind of situation, but not everybody's in that position. So like it's all starts with that conversation, but that's where my brain kind of comes in to kind of be like, okay, let's figure this out and make this all kind of make sense so that we get to like the end solution that makes the most sense for
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah, usually I just I'll say real quick, I've been doing trade show exhibits. I design, I build, I install, and that's funny, that's always seems to be the last thing on the list sometimes, depending on who the event planner is, but yeah, no, that's
That's
good to
why I'm
know.
here to remind everybody about it,
Okay,
because the longer lead time you have, the more options you have. Like we
better.
could go and do like all kinds of crazy stuff. But like I said, that doesn't mean that if you come into a crunch and you have a little bit more budget, that I can't find something that will work. It just might change what the options are. That's all.
Yes, as with everything, time is everything. Oh my goodness, in this industry.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's why MK can't sleep at night.
You still should. Magnesium's good for that.
Rich, did you want to share before we move on?
No, believe it or not, I had nothing to contribute to that one. Yeah, if anybody needs more of a reason to reach out, Jolene, I don't know if you remember texting with me. I
A
sent a
little
couple of
bit.
people your way. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you were the most responsive vendor by far. So thank you. It's on
Anytime.
theme for the call. So nothing but
Anytime.
gratitude.
Awesome. I
I'm
love
always
that.
here for it.
Chase, I'm going to share the mic with you. When we think about for the event professionals, space that we're in, what do you think, or what have you noticed when teams feel unseen or under recognized if we're thinking about just on that event production day?
Yeah, well, lack of recognition is one of the top reasons why people leave their jobs. It might be why some of you maybe even started your own. And belonging has been shown to be the leading factor for well-being, actually. That is what research shows. So if you don't feel like you belong, if you don't feel seen, if you don't feel like you're a part of something, it can even cause physical pain. So creating this feeling of belonging and being seen and being a part of something is so critical. And I think when we're there producing an event and we're in it and we're excited and it's fun, then our attendees are feeling that as well. And we need to create that same experience for them. So it's really important that I can tell you about the worst conference I went to, which caused me to feel like I didn't belong and I'll never go back. And then I work really hard at our events to make sure everyone does feel like they belong and they have a voice and they're supposed to be there. And it just, yeah, I think that's critically important. And this is hard work. So again, making sure that we're baking in that recognition throughout is critical because that's what's going to keep us engaged. It's going to keep our vendors, working with us. It's going to keep attendees coming back. So it's just about making it a culture, a culture of appreciation, a culture of gratitude, a culture of well-being is really what we're getting after.
Mhm.
I love all that you share, Chase. It makes actually you go out and be a better human in life. It's not just at work or applies at the event, but just all the
Mhm.
people you interact with.
Absolutely.
Lisa's notes here were just to share that when planners feel valued, they have better delivery. When the vendors feel valued, you have better partnerships. When the attendees feel valued, there's better NPS scores. And when sponsors feel valued, they return for more business.
Mhm.
So retention protects knowledge and brand equity. Okay, well, this half hour went by really fast. It's 10:28. I am thrilled by how many people came off the mic today and participated in this conversation and the new connections that you created here. I encourage you all to go on LinkedIn, find each other, connect with one another. We have the EPN Slack channel, engage there. And I would encourage you to mark your calendar. Meetups are intended to be casual, open, conversational, and we have a big event that we're putting a lot of energy into. It's called the Event Professionals Now, our big event on February 26th. And we're going to have some clear speakers. It's more of a learning style. And we hope that you will mark your calendars and join us there. We are taking a pause in December and January to prepare for that event and just allow our team some time to relax as we appreciate all the work they've done. I'll open up the mic, but we've got 1 minute if anyone wants to share, ask questions, or connect with our speakers today. Any closing thoughts?
I did want to just say thanks, Rich, because Amy got in touch with me too, and I've been meaning to reach back out to, but haven't been on LinkedIn very
And
much lately.
she's local. I was like, I bet you came right to mind for that one. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you so much.
I always
And
like
also,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead, Chase.
No, go
I'll say
ahead.
it after you, don't worry.
I was going to say, I always like to end meetings, Stephanie, like no matter who I'm with, I always say, what's one thing you're going to do to take care of your own well-being today? Are you going to, whether it's just take 5 minutes after this call before your next one, or go sit in the sun or go for a walk. But yeah, I think making that commitment, you could even put it in the chat of like, what are you going to commit to doing this week or today, really today? And that's going to make you feel good. And then maybe someone else feel good too.
That. Well, thank you. We're grateful for this community. Thank you for showing up. There is true data in being grateful. And I hope you take some of the lessons you learned today into the leadership and the leaders that you are every day in the work you do. Thanks for joining us.